I'm really excited to be live today. I'm sorry I couldn't come yesterday. I was not feeling good at all, like the entire day. Believe it or not, yesterday was such a struggle. Oh, that is much better. Okay, don't clean your glasses with cashmere. The wool doesn't go very well, actually. Your hair looks amazing if you don't mind. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yesterday, I don't know. I started a new medication and I'm just thinking maybe my body just didn't like it. I don't know. I took it the day before, but yesterday I don't know. I was just nauseous. I was running a temp and then I still had meetings and stuff to go to. I just was not right yesterday at all. And I was like, I am not going to serve them any purpose, even showing up. So I'm really excited today. Okay, guys, let me tell you. So today we are talking about the difference between surface level manifesting and subconscious reprogramming. And you know I'm a manifesting girl, but if I had to choose between the two, we are going to go with subconscious reprogramming. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I want to make sure you guys can hear me well. Please let me know if you guys can hear me or do I need to put these headphones in. Hopefully you can hear me so I won't feel tied down. Hopefully the audio is good. Let me know. Let me know. Are those the words? Let me know. Okay, y'all gonna have to say something to let me know. I feel like the culture here is so different than like Facebook or YouTube as far as the comments. I'm gonna need you guys to let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, I'm gonna end it if I don't know that you can hear me. Um, and my other phone is dead, so I can't even check it from my other phone. So please let me know in the comments if you can actively hear me. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is not because I'm gonna leave. To know me to know I'm gonna get out of here. Okay. All right, perfect. All right. So I'm a fan of manifesting, we know that. But here is the reality. Manifesting in the way most people teach manifesting is surface. And the problem with surface manifesting is if you manage to get the thing you desire into your physical 3D, it's often ill-gotten. You, like, really struggle to a degree, and you won't keep it. You won't keep it. Whether it's money, whether it's a career, whether it's a home, whether it's a car, whether it's a job. It was a TikTok not too long ago, and a girlfriend of mine, she sent it to me, and she was like, "Girl, somebody need to tell her to, like, quit buying cars." She kept saying, "Oh, I manifested a new car." Every car she, quote, unquote, "manifested" within a short period of time was total or something went wrong with it. But when other people let her borrow cars, she wasn't wrecking cars. And that's just one example. My friend was like, "She need to quit buying cars. Just quit buying cars, girl. It's you, it's you, it's you," you know? But often I've seen this happen when people buy homes. They're manifesting homes that they know they actually can't quite afford. And instead of manifesting, and I'm just going to stick to this term for the sake of this example, a career that'll make sure you can pay for your home as well. You got in the home, but you couldn't stay in the home. Those things happen all the time. But the reality is, if instead of manifesting in that term, a home, you reprogram your subconscious and you become the woman that lives in that type of home. Do you guys see the difference between that? One, you manifested it, you brought it in while you're still you. If you're still who you are today, it's going to be real hard to keep something that version of you tomorrow has because you're not that person. All right. By default, when you focus on subconscious reprogramming by default, the manifestation and all those manifestation pieces, that takes care of itself. When you become the woman who has the car, the home, the company, the revenue, the man, the sex, the things, when you become her, you will have those things. I hope you guys are feeling the difference between that. And it's why you will often hear me talk about, even when I talk about manifesting, I'm not a fan of manifesting individual things. I'm a fan of becoming the person who has the thing and then everything that comes along with that person being the person. Everything just comes. So you may be focused on building a business that you love and becoming the woman who has the business, or you may be focused on in your career getting to your next level or the ultimate dream in your career and becoming that woman. Well, if you become that woman who has the business and the revenues and who um is in her dream position in corporate, the house, the car, like the things come along with that. And so it's a huge reason why I'll use manifesting often in my video titles because SEO, and that's what people are searching for. But if I had to choose which one I would teach people to do, it's going to always be to go to the root, to go to the seed. So you may say, like, what does surface manifestation look like? And by the way, yeah, don't worry about my scribble, but I have notes for you. I have notes. Just so we can stay on track. We did really good the other day, and I was really proud of myself. Focus on forever and not the right now. Exactly, Hava Chena. Surface looks like things that we love, including me. All right. And what I want to remind you about the surface things that people use to manifest, I want you to realize they're tools. It's not that these things are bad, but in themselves, for the like alone, they will not serve the purpose long term that you would have. So they're great tools to go along with the rest of what we're going to talk about. All right. So I don't want you to hear this and think like, oh, they're bad. Like, no, I like all of the things I'm going to name, but they're surface. They work in partnership with other things. Okay. So, first thing that surfaced is vision boards. And how many of us love vision boards? Even in I have like a little like a leather traveler's journal. In one of my journals in there, it's like a little vision, like everyday people. It's similar to what people do with junk journaling, but I do it for my visions because I can't, in junk journaling, I can't quite grasp like why we doing it. Like I can't grasp it in my head. So I I still will do journals with pictures and such, but the point of that is the vision. And so I'll just have days, maybe once a week, once every couple weeks, where I will put images. It's a very good practice, but that practice alone is just pictures. If your subconscious looks at this picture and know you are not that thin woman on there, if you look at this and your subconscious know you don't they're just pictures. That's it. If that was the case watching, Housewives or something with people with more revenue, more money than you would have it because you're looking at those things. You have to, these are tools that go along with other things, okay? Next, affirmations. And I just did a whole post today talking about the 5 minute method, right? And affirmations and where that fits in. But if you noticed when I was talking about the affirmations, they had to happen at a certain time in a certain way. All right. So affirmations need to, if you're going to do affirmations, it's fine to do them throughout the day to keep your morale up or just in regular repetition. But if you are not doing it at the time that you're in your theta brain waves, or a high emotional state, you're just saying them to keep your morale up. That's it. You're just saying them, and that's okay. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. Or you're gonna have to repeat them so many times, and I mean so many times. So it needs to be either in a space where you are open for programming, where that plasticity is working, or a high emotional state. So again, like vision boards, affirmations are a tool unless you're using them in a certain way and with certain things, okay? Let me know if you guys are following me. I'm gonna keep going, but let me know in the chats if you're following me. Manifestation rituals such as writing yourself a check. How many of us have heard people say, write yourself a check? I have an old client who she creates manifestation checks. And the reality is, manifestation checks or, checks in general, perfect. Thank you. Checks in general, writing them to yourself. If If you don't believe it, you can write yourself $1 million check all day and you know you got $10 in the bank. You just wrote yourself $1 million check. You can see it every day. Unless you're doing the work to shift your identity, to shift who you are, to shift how you see yourself, that deeper work. Again, nothing's wrong with that. I've done it, but it's just a tool. All right. And let me give you a side note about a lot of these tools. You don't really need any of them, right? Unless they're actively a part of the reprogramming. But if you're doing it like an affirmation just to do an affirmation, you never really have to say that unless, and I'm gonna give you an unless in a minute. Vision boards, you never really have to, but they feel good. Like I feel good seeing the different images. I feel good surrounding myself with books and things. And if I'm gonna watch something on TV, something related to a certain lifestyle, right? It feels good, but you don't have to do it because every tool you need is here, really. That's all it is. Just like, on the new age side, crystals and sage and all those things are tools. You don't have to do any of it. You can still get the same result. They're tools. And a lot of times people forget they're tools with the power backing of God. Long as you have God, long as you have source, you don't need you really don't. It's just you might like them. I remember when I was in my crystal era for a whole bunch of years, I don't really care anything about crystals. As a matter of fact, I found one earlier today when I was cleaning. And I was like, oh, let me get that to my friend too. I gave all my crystals away. I just don't. And I mean, I had thousands of dollars of crystals. And it don't resonate with them. They're just tools. They're pretty, but they don't really even fit what I want an image, right? But I recognize they're tools. All right. And next, what I was going to say about the affirmations. The other reason affirmations outside of in your theta wave space or with high emotions is if you are challenged with other beliefs, that's the opposite of what you want. And all that means, so we have to pause and say, if beliefs are coming up for you, or thoughts are coming up for you, not on purpose, they're just popping up for you, that's your subconscious. And I want to pause and say, the good thing about that is your subconscious is telling you what's happening internally. The thoughts that you have that's just popping up for you, your subconscious is telling you what's happening. Most people don't pay attention to that. So often thoughts and fear can look like, my business will never be where I want it to be. It's so hard to get these revenue, just thoughts that pop up. They don't just pop up. They're subconscious. So it's like a peek into what's really happening behind the curtains. Okay. And I think that is a really great thing to jot. But if you're jot in your notes, just so you'll notice. But if you're dealing with that more often than not, affirmations are just good, almost to quiet that noise. The same reason you may have heard me say before, different audiobooks, The Game of Life and How to Play It, The Science of Getting Rich. Those are like my two go-tos for the most part. I have plenty other books I refer out, but those two tend to be like my go-to through the years. If I'm not listening to that, like with headphones in or earbuds and turned up, like I'm listening to something to do something with my mind and thoughts I don't want start coming in, I'll just start doing affirmations. Like you can't, while you're talking, you're not actively hearing a negative. I'm not actively hearing my thoughts when I'm talking to you. So sometimes, like if I pause, like then I'm kind of like, okay, these are the next thoughts. But you aren't. Like, that would be a little crazy that you're talking verbally and talking internally at the same time. I think I would be like, "Can you hush? Hold on," because you could I don't even like when people in the room with me. The cat will meow and y'all hear me tell her to hush because she distracted me. So imagine thoughts, right? So that's the only other time I would say it's okay to do like rampage type affirmations and declarations, but not like just know that in itself isn't reprogramming. The goal is to get to a point where you have more thoughts that match that which you want than the ones that doesn't. And in the beginning, you might have a lot of those thoughts that pop up that's like, whoa, where did that come from? Jot it down, but don't allow yourself to stay in it and give yourself a new thought. Okay. And another tool, visualizing, which may shock you guys because visualizing is really powerful. Again, it's a tool to get you to a frequency. So you can, in the middle of the day, be visualizing and get yourself to a certain frequency of feeling high and feeling good. And we are creating in those moments. But when it comes to visions creating our reality, that only happens, or shifting your subconscious, that only happens in the theta wave system. And so when is that? Right? We know when that happens. And then high emotions, right? In those emotional spaces. Think about when you are, and maybe this is just me. It's fine if it's just me. But the thing about me is if I get upset about something and like highly emotional, which I try not to, like I really study stoicism to try to keep myself on track because that's when we lose it. I will create full stories. Like one thing will happen and my imagination will be gone. I always say, you better tell me what the truth is because if my brain make it up, that's not what you want. My brain is not what you want to make up what happened. Now, why would I say that? Because my brain's not making up the thing that is the most beautiful, my brain's most likely making up the worst case scenario. So your best bet is to tell me what's going on so my brain don't have room to do that, right? That's what our mind will do. And again, it's still again a peek into what's happening in your subconscious. But the goal is to have more moments of imagining the situation. So in those moments, I'm imagining the worst case scenario. But what would happen if we imagine the best case scenario? What would happen if we imagine the best that could ever happen, right? So again, visualizing is a great tool for your frequency, but visualizing in itself is not going to reprogram your subconscious. And I know you maybe have never even heard me say that, but it won't. Okay. And then last on like surface level is something that, let me be clear, God loves it. I love it. It'll raise your frequency. It's still a tool. And that's like writing in your gratitude journal. Finding things to be grateful for. It keeps you here. And it basically is programming in the long-term programming. Like when you start noticing things to be grateful for, eventually over time, you don't have to look for things to be grateful for. You're automatically going to notice it because you're just trained to notice it. But that takes a really long time when you're not in a theta wave system. Like months or years. It takes a very long time. You're putting yourself in that space. But gratitude feels amazing. Gratitude lifts you. You train yourself when you keep a gratitude journal, or I used to do something called Gratitude Fridays. And every Friday I would get on Instagram and I would do a video about something I was grateful for. And some weeks it was really hard. I had to I'm just grateful I'm alive. That's all I have right now. It was, and I think part of that is because we want to find these big things to be grateful for. But really, like in hindsight, it was a lot of stuff. Like I was safe, I was healthy, my kid was good. Like it was a lot of stuff I could have been grateful for. But sometimes we're looking for like these big achievements to be really grateful for, right? Those moments of gratitude will train you to look for gratitude in your life. And what you seek, you shall find. So gratitude serves its purpose. But in reprogramming, it doesn't reprogram, it's simply a tool. Okay. That's what I want you to get. Nothing's wrong inherently with any of these things. I do them all. They are needed as tools. Does that make sense for you guys? Right. And when you're doing these tools and you're focused on the surface, you have to recognize that between the conscious and the subconscious always wins. So you can absolutely do those things. And in those things, like you will notice just doing that, your life will get better. Like you're literally looking for the best things. You're looking at great pictures for your vision board. You're saying the affirmations, like you're writing checks to yourself. You're in expectation. You're visual. Like you can call things in, but this is when you don't keep them or they're not quite what you wanted. Or like Florence would call them, I'd be talking about Florence, like the lady is alive now. And like I know her, but I kind of know Florence Scoville. Like I kinda do. She would call it, like, cracked plates, right? You will see things that's, like, that look like your manifestation and look like what you want, but it ain't quite what you asked for. Right, because you didn't change. Who you are didn't change. Mhm. It's actually the first time I can remember someone saying this so clearly. I'm glad to hear that, like, because people don't I don't here's the truth, I don't think people tend to know. I think especially in the, YouTube world, it's a lot of parroting. It's not a like, a lot of people talk about a couple things, typically money and love. I don't talk about love that much. You manifest one thing the way you manifest another thing. My focus has always been on money. I have not put in the work. I have started putting in the work on that. But that ain't I don't talk about it because that I'm talking about what I know. A lot of people, when they're talking about money and success, their money and success only comes from you. Well, before you met me, I had a seven-figure business. I showed up on YouTube as a millionaire. Like, I showed up that way. So, like, I didn't need you for money. A lot of times people are literally trying to manifest, like, they're making the money from teaching the manifestation. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But if you don't know how to make money outside of teaching manifestation, does manifestation really work for you? I feel that way about a lot of industries. I feel that way about the coaching industry. I have often said this, it is very incestuous. And if you are not teaching other people to coach, if you can't teach a business owner outside of coaching how to run a business and you haven't made any money outside of coaching, so you started teaching people how to coach or teaching people marketing around coaching or teaching people sales around coaching, and that's how you made money, and you're teaching them to do exactly what you're doing. But if you left the industry, could you go to another industry and duplicate that? Same thing. A lot of time people aren't experts in their thing really. A expert, if you can sell coaching, consulting, purses, uh flywheels. I don't know what a flywheel is. It just kind of popped in my brain. Computers, pussy. Excuse me. Pardon me for people who are new to me. We go too far sometimes. I go too far sometimes. So pardon me. I ran out of things. A little bit of a ADHD brain, okay? Sorry. Right. I'm like, if you used to me, you might not be that shocked. But I still shock myself. Like I huh, I should have had. Sorry. I had to pause because girl, did you just say that? If you're new to me, I do apologize. Sometimes those sorts of things do slip out, especially after, at nighttime, I feel more comfortable. So pardon me. And also, if you come to Manifest Live, it's no telling what's going to come out my mouth. You go change, you go transform, but ain't no telling. But just so you know, okay? All right. But you should be able to sell everything. You really should. And unfortunately, people can't. And I find that to be true in this space. The reason a lot of these things, you know, it may be the first time you've heard it or as clear or in a certain way is because the reality is people are learning to manifest through you and teaching you. You should be able to duplicate. I remember, girl, I don't remember. I love to say I remember. I guess let's say I remember hearing. I remember hearing Neville say he never charged for teaching his stuff. Now I'm a charge because I don't do nothing free. Businesswoman before I got here. But like my YouTube and stuff, like I give so much. I give stuff here free. Like let me stop acting like I don't give anything away, right? But Neville would say he would never charge to teach you to manifest. Just like I give you the steps to manifest for free, right? I give that to you. Subconscious program a little different, but I give it to you. Like you can have it. People are learning to manifest by teaching you to manifest, and I really hope that makes sense. What I'm trying to say, and so one of my goals. I remember making a video about this. Oh, and baby, they tried to come for me, and I think they thought I cared. I I'm kinda unbullyable. I said what I said, and I stood on what I said, and yeah, it was a big YouTube thing. I mean, so many people came out. I was like, "Whoa, funny how your video don't go viral until you say something to piss somebody." It's really funny how that happens. So, the subconscious always wins, guys. Between the subconscious is always gonna win, which is why if I'm choosing between manifesting and subconscious reprogramming, I'm always going to go for reprogramming. I'm always gonna go for brain rewiring, okay? And so, I showed you what surface looks like. Let's go over what the deep work looks like. And let me just say, you can't, if you are looking to forever have a life, it's not saying that things unpleasant won't happen. You won't be disappointed. It's not saying those things, but you handle them differently and you move through things, right? Like think about it. Death happens. That's going to hurt, right? So but when I say having a life you love, like ultimately the life you've built is the life that you've co-created with God. Right. And I have to also say things that's in alignment with who you are. Anything that's not really in alignment with who you are, you can't really get it in the first place. Right. So let's talk about what deep work looks like. I've mentioned a little bit of it already. And theta brain waves, theta state practices, doing the work. So basically, what happens when you are in the theta state, that is the exact state you were in between 7 months gestation, so in the womb, to 7 years old. It is a state of tape record. Like, just imagine your brain being a tape recorder, recording everything and clocking it as true. That's the part that's important, right? Like, I might record everything, like hear everything, but I don't clock it as true. It's recording it and clocking it as true. It's like hypnosis. Okay. And that's what was happening between 7 months gestation and 7 years old. We only get to those states at certain times in certain periods. And again, I always talk about the high emotional states. That's one. It's like, God, why would that be the time? Why would that be the time that like my subconscious is open? Come on now. Come on now. And when you go to sleep and when you first wake up, or you like my clients that will come and work with me in person, we do like when you come in January, we will do work where while you're with me in the room, I'm going to put you in the theta state. All right. For Made Manifest. So that's one. Next is nervous system regulation. Your body has to get to a point that it feels safe. Sometimes when you say affirmations, that's like way outside of what, like consciously, you might be like, oh, that's good. But it's way outside of what you've ever experienced. And really, anybody you know personally, they haven't either. Often you will feel it in your body. It will give you a fight or flight sensation. You actually can test your heart rate, and your heart rate will increase in those moments. Even things that's seemingly good, if it is not in alignment with what your subconscious belief is, it will trigger anxiety. It will trigger anxiety. I want to pause here because this gets women in trouble in relationships. Sometimes the anxiety mean get the hell away from that person. All right. So, because Miss Self Help over here has absolutely reasoned things that she shouldn't reason. So, this happens. So, sometimes we self help ourselves into situations we shouldn't be in. Because it's like, oh no, this is why I got anxiety. No, you got anxiety because they give you anxiety. Like your body is screaming, get the hell away from them, right? So just kind of know that. But for the most part, when you're hearing things, when you're saying your affirmations, when all these things are happening, if you if it's out of alignment, your body won't feel safe and you'll go into fight or flight, even if you don't consciously know it. It just shows up in different ways. And it's why a lot of women who are on the path of striving for success are overweight. I was about 90 pounds heavier myself because you're constantly fighting. So, how do you cope when you're in an anxious state? What does that coping looks like? For me, it looked like a bunch of sodas, sugar, sodas. Mountain Dew. Like, that's how you go. How do you cope? Your body would, and if you're not paying attention, if you're not clocking what's happening, right? The next thing that's deep work. So you have going into theta brainwave. You have nervous system regulation, which by the way can happen through different processes, including different breathing exercises. Belief identification. Now, interesting enough, your subconscious is always telling you. Like your subconscious is always telling you. We don't pay attention. So you know how I mentioned those thoughts that just kind of pop up and I'm like, clock those. Note, like write them down. Change the thought, write them down. But that thought is a mirror of what's happening in your subconscious. But there's also a process we can go through and we can start uncovering and pulling up and digging up those beliefs. And you want to do that because if you don't know what they are, you can't address them in order to reprogram, in order to stick in a new belief. We will be sticking in all these other beliefs having to do with success and money and then totally miss the one that actually is relevant for you. All right. So that's important, right? Knowing exactly what subconscious beliefs are holding you from that version of you that you really are. I was gonna say that you desire to be, but that you really are, right? Identity shift, that lines up right there. Identity shift. You figure out what the beliefs are, and then you actually have to shift your identity. How do you see yourself? So I'm gonna bring up something. I was gonna say, I don't know if I'm safe saying it, but this is my community. I'm safe. Now you might want to leave, but I'm safe saying this. So I was like, wait a minute. Meaning I say worse stuff. The most prevalent example that I see as a Black woman in America on social media is people who see themselves as Black and because I'm Black, fill in the blank. So I was actually talking to a mentor of mine this morning. He started laughing at me. He was like, "This is usually me who would say stuff like this." What's this morning? That might have been last night. So I'm being asked to run for something else, and that's actually we know it will be open. The other thing we hoping she retires, and if she'll retire, I'll run for that instead. And so then we started talking about examples of people who I mentioned that, because they asked me to run for something that's more local, like a mayor position. And he was like, I don't know, I don't see you being a mayor of a small town. Like you belong state. And I even told them, stick with me. This is not about politics. You go see the example in a minute. And I was like, well, I agree because I told them like, uh, but if somebody go have to talk to me about the local because I don't have a clue because I don't play in the local. I'm with senators and state reps all the time. Like those are my people. Like they're my friends. They're the people I'm around. And I'm under the Golden Dome. Like I know what's happening. Not so much on a local level. Like local is important, so I make sure I vote in it. I make sure, but I don't really know, right? And he said, well, I don't know. I just feel like you running for Senate, which is really high, to then do something local. I say, yeah, but dude, there is no other. Like, that's kind of how elections are about timing. Again, stick with me. This is really not about election. Elections are about timing. So if there's no seat available, you just got to kind of wait. And so for them, their reasoning is they don't want me to wait and not be in the public eye. And so they would rather I run for something like mayor. I'm in the public eye. People are knowing me and we can set up donors. So when the state position comes back or a federal, which I'm not interested in, I won't say forever, but I don't see it. But I've learned I wouldn't have said I ever would have been doing anything in politics either. So there's that. But I don't think I'm interested in DC by any means. Them people crazy. Like everybody crazy. Everybody nuts. I don't want to be there. Y'all be all in my business. Y'all be like, when she was 14, I'll be like, baby, what was you doing at 14? Stay out my business. What Jay-Z said, my past ain't pretty. No, we not doing that. Let's stay in the state, right? So he was like, I don't know. I just feel like that's just such a drop from state. And I said, I agree, but what else is it? Like, there's nothing else. And he said, well, I don't know, but I just feel like that maybe you should just wait. And I said, well, Bernie Sanders didn't wait. And he was like, what? I was like, Bernie Sanders lost like 5 times, maybe 6, before he ever won. And he is arguably one of the most influential people. Even in Senate, he is one of the most influential people. He retired, but he's still one of the most influential people. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, Bernie ran for Congress first. He might have ran twice. I'm not sure about that, but he ran for U.S. Congress first. So I'm telling him the story, and y'all go see what I'm talking about in a minute. Y'all know I'm a storyteller. He ran for Congress first. Then I think he went to state Senate, then maybe House rep. Ran for a couple more things, and he kept losing. And it wasn't until he got to mayor and he won at mayor. He did 1 term at mayor and left mayor and went straight back to DC, which is where he wanted to be anyway. And he said to me, he said, I didn't realize that. I said, yeah. Like, I don't know where y'all, like, in no real word, very seldom, unless planted is probably not the right word, but unless someone's put somewhere by other people and money's behind it, very seldom do people not run a few. Like, it just is what it is, right? And he said to me, a white man could do that, but a black woman couldn't do that. That was last night because I was laying in the bed and I said, that's a lie from the pits of hell. Absolutely not. That is nothing that I would ever claim that as a black woman, I can't, blah, blah, blah. And then I paused. I said, as a matter of fact, tell me when some Sears like lost several times. He said, oh, I forgot about that. I was like, exactly. I said, I will never take on a belief that if you lose, you can't win, when that tends to be 95% of people who win. So his point was, as a black woman, or black person, if you lose an election, you start being seen as a loser. And I'm like, that couldn't be true. How many times people called you to tell you to talk me into running? He said, yeah, but you're different. I'm like, I'm not really. It's just not a belief that I chose to take on. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying about identity shift? When I see Stephanie, I'm looking at me right now. I'm looking at me like you looking at me. This girl right here, there's nothing. There's no rules around her that is negative that doesn't apply. That does apply. I don't claim that. I will never claim that. I was so quick to say that's a lie from the pits of hell. He was like, wait. I meant it. And he laughed too. He thought it was funny. Meant it. Those are not my rules. And we can see this everywhere. And I'm using race because it's so prevalent. And it's something that I don't know how many people of color are on this line, but even if you're not black, you can use this. I promise. We have all, to some degree, come into agreement with bullcrap, with some bullcrap that does not serve us. And you have to be willing to let that go. I don't care how many examples you think you have, how many. You get examples because that's what you believe. The reason I can say that is because I defy rules all the time. I can't tell y'all last time I got a ticket, but I got stopped a couple weeks ago. A ticket? Why would somebody give me a ticket? Police stop me and they like me. They laugh and kiki with me. And even if they're in a bad mood for some reason, they always find favor with me. That is a rule I have made for my life. Period. And I started seeing the evidence of that. People find favor. You might want to write this down. I don't know who you is, but it's somebody listening to this need to write this down. People find favor with me. People meet me and they find favor with me. And people who don't like me, they stay the hell out of my way. They just don't come around me. They can't even pinpoint why they don't like me. but they're mad that other people find favor in my pure existence, right? Rules I've made for myself. I was on um TikTok. And so it's this trend right now. Now I ain't do the trend quite like that, but I did my own version of the trend because I just want to see. Y'all gonna send me some PR. I want some. By the way, somebody did DM me from KSIT. Wait, because I wrote it in. Yeah, from KSIT. They do like office supplies and they're sending me an office supply box. Yes, get what you want. So it's this trend where you sit in a chair and this girl, she was spinning and she's put on there something like, I hate this job. I'm at corporate. Like, I really wish somebody would send me some PR so I can get out this corporate. That girl got no less than like 100, 150 major brands, including cars, saying, let's see how we can work together. Now, side note, it's because she asked for no money. She asked for PR, which is a great way to start, by the way. And then you can do like practice, get good with that. And I saw this other girl do it. Now, I guess she was white. I don't know. She went black. Point is, she went black and she was young. So things you have to take, things we know automatically, we believe, is people that's young and people have this belief that you're not black, then you'll get all the PR. Stick with me, y'all. Points. I'm hoping you picking up what I'm putting down. So this black girl did it. Same video in a chair in her office cubicle, and she had the little audio playing and she did a little circle. And then she put pretty much the same verbiage there and said, like in the caption, corporate girls need PR too. Now, I will tell you what I happen to know about TikTok, having one page with 34,000 people and having another page at 60,000 people. And that page at 60,000 people, at least 1 out of 5 videos go get 150,000 or more views. TikTok recently, sometimes you can do it, but something's been going on recently that you might post and nobody will see the video and you'll be like, dang, this ain't showed to five people. And then you come back 3-4 days later and like it's popping. It's popping. And you're like, oh, that was odd. But okay, whatever. I guess they waited to push it out. Who knows? So this black girl did it. Looks different. She's probably still in her 20s, but different. I need you to understand how brands think too. So, like certain brands, I wouldn't approach for several reasons. I'm in my 40s. So, a brand about something, what would I won't say birth control method because I can get pregnant, but things that you would think about in your 20s just it would make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, give me something to decorate my home. I want to redo my whole house and I don't want to pay for it. I want Home Depot or Lowe's to pay for it. Give me a new rug. Give me some to Restoration Warehouse. I like Restoration Warehouse. Give me like, stuff that's brown, right? People don't take this into consideration. So it's only certain types of sunscreen I like because some of them leave like a little white tint. So I see the black girls looking in the comments the first time I saw it, and people in the comments like, I'm so disappointed. I knew that other girl, because she's white, she has like all these brand deals. And when I first saw it, it was like maybe 12 hours after a girl posted it, and it hadn't popped yet. Video came back around today. Her video's now viral, and she still has major brands. Like, we can send you a purse. We can send you skincare. We can send you this. And me, because sometimes I have time and I be wanting to remind people. And what I really hope sometimes, and I'm going to give up because it doesn't work well on social media, is that people see these things and it challenges their view. It challenges their view because nothing's set in stone. It's about what you believe. That girl could have deleted her video when it went popping. She could have deleted the video when all these people were on there. And I mean, it was several who were like, it was pretty consistent. I'm so disappointed in these comments. White people, always white people. Like, I just was like, so I went to a couple and I was like, well, how you feel now? Because she got it too, right? She didn't grasp on to the belief that she couldn't get PR because she was Black. These people in the comments, this is why I don't even try. I wouldn't even try. No, it's not because you Black. It's because how you see the world, your mentality, and like you said, you wouldn't even try. You have not because you ask not. So what I tend to hope is like when I comment, and again, it never happens, that I challenge people's view. Like clearly your hypothesis was incorrect. Well, yeah, because it's viral now. I'm like, but that's why the other girls popped. It's because hers went viral. It wasn't because she was white. It was because her video went viral. You know how many white people don't give views to? I see people all day like, can y'all please like it so I can get enough followers so I can be on TikTok Shop? What we, if you are looking to get a different life, any viewpoint, I don't care what it is, and typically anything, I don't care if you Black, Hispanic, Native, Jewish, Palestinian, Muslim, we gotta let victim stuff go. You gotta let go of any belief that is opposite of what you want. And I see it so much between, like, and I name those groups for a reason. Then let me also bring up poor because poor covers everybody. Like, there is not an ethnicity that poor won't cover. Not one. Any rule that you have decided is true, if you catch yourself saying, well, I'm Black, or well, I'm a woman, or well, I'm married, or well, I'm single, or well, I'm a single parent, or well, I'm a parent, or well, I work here, whatever, typically when you come up with that, you following it with some bull crap. You are following it with some bull crap that is not true. What I told that man, that's a lie from the pits of hell. You better start saying it. But I mean it so much, I almost copped the attitude. Don't you say no mess like that. Like, don't say no mess like that to me. Don't even bring that around my brain. So, like, and I was getting ready to go to sleep too. It was nighttime. I'm in the bed. I'm sleep. Duh. That's a lie. You guys have to learn. Y'all here? Or y'all just quiet because you didn't like the conversation. I don't care that you don't like the conversation. It's the truth. And you better get this goodness. Okay? Get this good. This some good. Because everybody I know has made rules for themselves. Everybody I know has come in agreement with something. Ask yourself, what have you come into agreement with? And the things you have come into agreement with, that's your identity. That's what you identify as. Stop identifying as anything other than the person that God has created you to be. Stop identifying with anything that is not you being in the image and likeness of God. Stop. Okay, good, y'all. Y'all following. I know that's right. I'm loving it. Okay, good. I just like y'all following. I want y'all to make sure y'all picking up what I'm putting down. We have to ensure, and people will say it, they'll go to church, they'll say all this motivational stuff online, and then be the first ones you see in comments, and I'll be like, this ain't adding up to what you be saying the other time, because this sound like you claiming things for yourself, but it's true. Is it? I don't know. Most of what people be sounding like, that ain't my truth. And if something happens to me or I experience something once, that's not the truth. Something can be a truth and not the truth. It might be a truth that I've done something that might be ashamed of in my life. That's not the truth because it's not who I am today. Something can be a truth. Something can have had happen, but it doesn't mean it's the truth. And what we're doing is we are taking things and we are making them be a part of our identity. And as soon as you come into agreement with anything that makes you a victim, less than, not enough, unloved, broke, hated, I know they hate me, girl. My favorite thing is, who is they? Yeah, I ain't figured out who they be yet. Now, I would do it too when somebody died. I'd be like, they didn't kill. Who just died? Somebody just died. I said, they didn't kill such and such. Oh, homegirl died. Lord, what's her name from Baby Boom? Lord. And I did call my friend. I said, they didn't kill the Lord. Who is they? All right. But I'm saying it in a comical way. They didn't kill the Lord, but she old. So maybe she just laid down and died like a lady. But Point being, we love to say they, and can't nobody pinpoint who they is. Stop. Stop coming into agreement with you. You can hear something that had nothing to do with you. I love to say, "Oh, that's your truth." I can see that being your truth. I say, and sometimes you gotta say it sweet. Hmm, maybe that's your truth. And go on, leave them standing. Like, maybe that's your truth. Mm. So who am I to argue with your truth? Who am I to come up against you with your truth? That's not my truth. Don't you put that on me. What we say, it's a lie from the pits of hell. Act like we in church. Repeat after me. That's a lie from the pits of hell. That's what y'all need to start saying. And sometimes you need to say it to yourself. When something comes up, when a thought comes up, that's a lie from the pits of hell. I don't even know where I get that belief from, but we got to weed that thing up. We got to get rid of that. That's a lie. I am good enough. I am worthy. I have more than enough. I am loved. People care about me. I have everything that I need. You better start getting an attitude with yourself. When you lie on you, we don't come into agreement with anything that's other than something aligned with us being in the image and likeness of God. Does that make sense? That's a lie from the pits of hell. Thank you, Latrina. This is important, yeah. I probably stayed on that a long time because identity, that's really it. Identity, what you identify as. But see, this is the thing. Until some of the other things you're taken care of, you can't identify as anything else because you still you won't dig into the beliefs. You won't identify those beliefs. But all I got to do is go through y'all social media, see what y'all comment on, have a couple minute conversation. I really don't even need to do that. But sometimes the social media comments tell me way more about you than your mouth forever. Because people will be bold in a comment, but they won't say it out their mouth. The comments, that's where your heart is for real. Check your comments. Check what you're saying on people's stuff. That's where your heart is. That's where your belief lies. Okay. Next, me and my long we're in the deep work. So we did the surface first. Now we're in what deep work looks like. Next is the somatic integration, and it is literally rewiring the body's response. So how I talked about your nervous system, getting your nervous system together, you need to rewire how your body responds to certain things, not just what your changing thoughts are. So checking often, I don't have it on now, but I gotta really work on it because I sometimes I want to not wear an Apple Watch or not an Apple Watch. What are you had a Fitbit? I don't be want to wear. I don't even those watches. I'm like, this is not attractive. That's not cute. It's not stylish. I don't care. You can change the band. That big old screen is ugly. But the beautiful thing about that when you are going through this work is that it's testing your heart rate. And sometimes, like if you pause in a moment, you catch yourself, check your heart rate, see if it increased. What's going on? What you're thinking about? I've had moments that randomly, like my heart rate's a little more, and I'm like, what am I thinking? And I'm usually thinking about something having to do with work or something. Check it. Those things are just really important, right? Because your body actually responds. Our beliefs, our subconscious beliefs, it's wild, but it literally controls everything. You are literally living in your beliefs. You're living in your beliefs. And so even though you may be living an amazing life, if you're not where you want to be, that's fine. But even in where you are, you're living in your beliefs. I've been paying attention to that heavily and trying to check myself on my yes. It is just check what you're thinking. Check what your mind is saying. Like check it. Okay. And then repetition with emotion. And again, I touched on that when we were talking about surface, right? Repetition with emotion will be huge when it comes to the reprogram, the deep work. Repetition when you're in the theta wave state, huge. Okay. Huge. Outside of that, again, it's just simply a tool. So let's go over why people stay. And again, yeah, I'm looking down because of my notes. Let's go over why people. This would probably because I don't know why. I start out writing real neat when I'm taking notes, and then all of a sudden it go from real neat to girl, what the hell? What the hell do y'all say? Anyway, all right. Why do people stay surface? Number one, ignorance. People don't know any better. They're doing all they know to do, right? And then even when you tell them no, why would people not? Same reason people pay for things they don't follow through on. Same reason people say they want to change, but they don't take the steps to do so. First off, they lying. They're just lying. I hate to say it, they're lying to themselves, not to me, not to you. They're lying to themselves. They're not ready for whatever reason, because when you're ready, you fight through and you go push through. Now, you might cry and your heart rate might speed up because you're not aligned, but you consciously make the decision that you know aligns, right? People stay surface because they don't know any better. And then next, because honestly, surface is easier. It's easy to do the little surface stuff. Do your little vision board. It's cute. It's cute. Let's cut out our pictures. Let's glue them. It's cute, right? Saying your little affirmations all day. It's cute. You can make content. But that content ain't connecting. Okay? It's cute. All right? Your checks, your manifestation checks. I'm going to write myself a check for $1,000,000. Cute. Then you going to tell people you did it too. We do. That we do. Mhm. It's cute. It's easier. That's next reason is because honestly, it's majority of what people teach. I think I mentioned this the other day, but it's really only a handful of people with actual training around this. It's kind of a thing you PhD programs where you can make your own based upon your dissertation, or you're making your own, basically, is what's happening. It's not really, and that's why you're not going to see that many. It has to be typically something people are just interested in anyway, and so they're looking for programs that match as much as possible, and then you create a dissertation around it that fits. You're not gonna see a lot, right? Unless somebody just goes into neuroscience, and neuroscience by itself still wouldn't cover the full. It just is more of just a brain part, right? But then how do you relate that to the person and their belief system, right? Next, no one asks you to change. When you are manifesting, no one's asking you to change. They're asking you to vision. They're asking you, do you love vision boards? Do you gratitude journals? They're not asking you to actually change. They are not calling you on your miss. It's saying, baby, you got to do something different. This is not going to work. They're not checking you. See, I'm telling you, you have to change. You have to change. The person looking at me now, you cannot be her and be who you want to be like later. You can't, you have to change. You got to do that work. That's uncomfortable, but needed. Oh, yeah, it feels good in a moment. And I mentioned it for a few things, like your visualizations and the affirmation. Like those things actually do feel good in the moment, which is why I don't say throw them out. I think they are great tools. You just got to do the deep work too. Deep work too. Okay. Any questions about that thus far? I've done all that, but knew not to tell anyone, let everyone see. Only one person received almost everything that was on their vision board. Excuse my grammar. No, no worries. No worries. So, just like a little tip for you. Next time you try to do an affirmation outside of a theta wave system, I want you to ask yourself a couple things. Write these down. You guys have pen and paper. Write these down. Give you a couple seconds. Literally a couple. Or I guess you can put it in your, I guess you can put it in your phone or whatever you're watching me on. Do I believe this? Do I believe this affirmation I just said? We like money, so let's stick to, What is one I think people go for consistently? I consistently make 100K per month or above. I feel like that's one a lot of my clients lean on. They want 100K months consistently, 70K months consistently, whatever you want. Do you believe it? Now, you can believe something is possible, it has been possible, but deep down you're like, not right now. Even if it's that, you might be like, oh, I know it's possible, but no time soon. Then ask yourself, when you think of that, do you feel safe in your body? Do you know how many people don't feel safe with the idea of making more money than they've ever made in their life? People literally feel unsafe with the thoughts. Thoughts of the responsibilities that will come up. Number of people told me they don't want to because of taxes. I'm like, because of taxes? Where you have the money to pay the taxes? Child, you don't make sure you a corporation so you can write off and write that thing all the way down, and you still gonna have to pay your personal because you go pay yourself at the corporation. But for them, pay yourself as little as you can to survive. If you don't pay taxes, so you mean to tell me you want to stay mediocre because of taxes? And granted, I just paid the IRS a couple months ago. I just finished paying them. Hallelujah. So sick of the IR and the S. You don't even know. You don't. Mm, mm, mm. So I get it. I don't want to get them people no money. Cause how dare you in my money? You didn't work for this. I feel the way. I understand. And also, I made the money. It ain't like they made up a number. Now they might want too much, but they didn't make up a number. The number came from something. If I made the money, I made the money. Number of times people tell me it's just wild to me. Or what if people start asking for money? What if you start saying no? Why do they know you know? Like, here's the truth. I talk about money with y'all. Let me just give y'all a little. I talk about money with y'all. I don't be talking about money. The only friends I talk about money with are friends that we're also business friends, meaning we was friends anyway, because I don't really have business friends. It's just my business friend. Like, we friends for real. Like, we friends for real. And then we might also talk about business because we're all self-employed for the most part. I don't just be sitting up talking about money. Why are you telling people how much money you make? Why do they know outside of a container? Outside of a container, why are we talking about it? The IRS gets paid to exist. Listen, look, you the IRS too. I guess we can go for that. I guess we can go for that. But you should be talking about your money anyway. Random people, that's how we know you ain't used to nothing. If you don't shut up, don't nobody have no business knowing how much money you making. You should know I'm all right because I'm gonna go somewhere. Where they say there will be signs because I be gone. I be doing stuff, but you ain't really. And see, I'm kind of over. I'm over the stuff phase. I went through that already. So you extra be like, you don't really know because I'm over the stuff phase. I have the stuff and I watch when I take the stuff. Start like, be like, I don't know if I want to do that. I have stuff. I like stuff that don't have names on it. You go no. If you know, you know. But if you don't, you don't. Cause it ain't none of nobody business. Ain't none of nobody business. So when people worry about what other people are gonna think or people asking, F them and shut up. You talk too much. You have a business, you're supposed to be successful in your business. It's not a hobby. We're supposed to make money. But you don't need to know how much money. Social media has really made people real comfortable. The way people ask stuff, I be like, I literally only talk about money because it's relevant. And I don't even talk about my money anymore. I used to talk about my money all the time. So look, I had a $300,000 month. I don't even do that no more. Ain't none of y'all business. Ain't none of your business. I just it ain't none of your business. Again, I don't know if that's age. I don't know if it's maturity. I don't know if it's just, baby, I've lived. And it's just like, it ain't none of your business. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. Absolutely not. Especially when your friends and family all on your social media. You know what I'm saying? So I talk about money, but I don't even talk specifics of my own business anymore. And I said this to a girlfriend of mine. I said, honestly, we need our butts kicked because a lot of the problems with the industry, we was part of that problem in 13, 14, 15. Way back then. We created a lot of the stuff that we're seeing today. We was part of the problem. Now we want to act like we too good. Like I would never do that. Because you did it. That's what the problem is. And then people came behind you and was doing it. And now we looking at it like, "Mm, so trashy." Well, girl, you was trashy. Okay, you needed to. You moved out of it. That's what I'm telling you. Don't be unless it's necessary to your work. Some people don't need to know. How dare you hold yourself back over that? How dare you? Okay. And then also it's your business money. That's another thing. I used to tell my mama. She'll be like, "You got out." I'm like, "That's my business money. It's not my money. I pay myself. At the time, I spend myself 50,000 a year. I get paid 50,000 a year. Okay, you make more than that as a nurse. That's my business money. That's not my money. How dare I rob my business?" Next, but I came to a point too. I don't care nothing about making nobody mad. I don't care nothing. I got an older brother who don't even talk to me. He said every time you ask her for something, she say no. Hell no. You older than me. No, no. I'm the only one was a single parent. No. But you have to be to that point, and if you know you're not, shut up. You don't have to, and that's how we know a lot of what we go to achieve is about proving to other people, because we have to make sure they know. It's about proving to other people. People will know without you saying anything like, "Oh, she must be okay." Like when I got my house in Vegas. I know my stepdad and my mother were not even together anymore. I know she was not, and I don't know. She was talking about business to my bro. I don't know. I don't think she was talking business to him. But one day he came over for Christmas. He flew from Alabama to Vegas. And we were sitting and he was like, Stephanie, whatever it is you're doing in business, don't stop because you doing so well. You about this big old night. It was 7-bedroom house with a guest house. You know about gated community. You know about this big old house. Like, whatever you doing, just keep going. And he ain't never hear me say nothing about money. He went on my social, so I didn't talk about it, but he went slow. I ain't saying no drugs, right? But I ain't have to talk to him about it. People can see it and just let them think and believe. And for all they know, every penny I made went to paying for it. Now you did have again my mama do stuff like, and I know she ain't know no better. I hear her on the phone with my uncle being like, "Yeah, honey, she didn't redecorate. Yeah, she ain't had no furniture when she moved into this house. 7 bedrooms, and she ain't got no due bill either." That's how you know we from the South. But I ain't even know what a due bill was. I was like, "Girl, what is a due bill? Why you telling people my business?" She was like, "Meaning you don't have a monthly payment, Mama. Get off the phone. Do not be telling people my business. That's why you don't tell other folks your business because they go tell other people your business. Shut up." Shh. Yep. So true. So true. Maturity. Absolutely. I'm really thinking it's maturity because, baby, I'm halfway insulted when people ask me my business. Okay. So after you ask yourself, do I believe this? See, we still on it. That's why I got notes because I know how I go off. Do I believe this? Do I feel safe in my body? You are then going to ask yourself, and it's the good one. This the good one. Who would I have to become? And what would I have to believe about myself to have this, for this to be true? Who would I have to become and what would I have to believe about to myself for this to be true? That's good, ain't it, y'all? It's good. I know it is. Because, see, when you discover what you got to believe about yourself, that just highlights everything. Hello, long distance wife. Hello, hello, hello. we're about to end. I really hate you just hopping on, but that's okay because the recording go, we'll have a recording up. It should sometimes when it's a longer video, it takes a little longer, but it'll be popping up soon. But when you have to ask yourself, what do I have to believe? It literally shines a light on that dream version of you. And I think it's so beautiful because I feel like that's a major key. When you know what you have to believe, now you know what you need to work on. Because obviously you don't believe whatever that thing is that you have to believe. And the deep work is what so many people run from. If you've ever been like, if School of Quantum Living, it's pretty common to have people crying. At one point, I used to be like, if you ain't cry, I ain't do my job. It's not, I didn't fuss or anything like that. Now, I might frustrate you for sure, but typically it's confronting ourselves and confronting our beliefs. When you come here for Made Manifest in January 18th and 19th, I'm sure it's some tears, and it's going to be an intimate setting. We can really go deep. We can really go personal. I'm sure transformation doesn't feel good. I feel like social media has created this false narrative because people only show you the beautiful aesthetics. They show you the peaceful aesthetics. I promise you, a successful life is not getting up, making no matcha, and going to Pilates. I'm gonna do those things, but it's a little chaos in there. I might take a phone call in between. It is not what people showing that's for you. That's to lock you in on a dream. Okay. You don't see them people do nothing. You really think that's like even in recording, that's they work. That's they full time. Influencing is work. I be taking so long to I quit editing videos. Don't even worry about it. If you see a video on YouTube from me with words on it, that's the most you'll get from me. And then it takes me a while. Then I get frustrated. The number of times, some of you probably ain't paid attention, but there is plenty of videos where you start off in the first couple minutes, first maybe 10 minutes, you see captions or text from me. And then towards the end of the video is done. I was like, if they go get this video, I'm through. Swear. Swear. And I'm done. They better listen. They better get these words out of my mouth. They better not need to read. If they made it this far, they in it anyway. Okay. So you have to recognize that manifestation is cute, but the manifestation is a byproduct of reprogramming. Reprogramming is not a byproduct of manifestation, which is why you can get it and lose it. A manifestation is a byproduct of reprogramming, which is why I will always be the person that pushes reprogramming over everything else. You will get the things that your heart desire, that you align with in the physical, and you are going to keep it because you are the person that has it. Okay, we have been on over an hour today, but that's okay. I feel good. I feel like we've done a good thing. If you didn't hear, we have Made Manifest as January 18th and 19th. It is on the stillwellsociety.com. Click Made Manifest. Grab your tickets. That's part one. And then I just found out, side note, y'all know the first like in 2 days, I was right here in this. And I was looking to do something else. And I was like, the first not next week. The first not next week. The first Saturday. Y'all ain't tell. And we starting on the first. We're not starting on Monday. We're not starting on the first Monday. We're starting on the first. So on the first, we are starting, I was calling it the Manifestation Challenge, but then I was like, that is not, it's the Reprogramming Challenge. We start on the first, the Stillwell Society partnership. I think it's $379 for the year, or you can pay monthly. And monthly, it is $39.99 or something like that. And you can cancel anytime. If you cancel, you're crazy, but you can cancel anytime. And I do mean you're crazy because you wear what you get, high level work for less than $400 a year. Where you gonna do it? And then if you pay for the year, you save $100, 100 and some change. Actually, I think it's like $150. Okay. So yeah, I was in here. This what told me, and I was like, yeah, and even tell me. So we start in 3 days. Thursday, Friday. We start in 3 days. So if you have not signed up yet, make sure you go ahead and sign up. That means either tomorrow or Friday, I will be sending you your pre-work. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. And that's my fault because I really thought it was next week. Don't know how I don't know. Okay. And then, like I said, if you haven't registered for Made Manifest, I think you should make your way to Atlanta. I think I don't do live events often. They're always intimate. They're always life changing. It's a 2-day event. And I just know that God is really going to work on your subconscious. I just know that between the science work and this deep spiritual work we go do, you will not leave done with it because we go do it over. It's by perimeters where we will be. You will not leave the same. All right. Anybody have any questions for me related to what we went over today? Only so we can stay on track. Any questions related to what we went over today? Excited? I'm excited too. If you cancel, you crazy. Listen, you crazy. It's like, why would you do that? When I see people and I'm like, I let a lot of subscriptions go. As a matter of fact, that reminds me when we get off here, I need to text Caden. Caden is my son. I want to know which one he used more, Hulu or Netflix, because one of them going. These subscriptions for stuff I don't even really click on pissing me off. After a while, I'm like, why am I paying for this? I can't say the last time I've been over here. Why am I paying for this? I'm like that about subscriptions that don't feed me, feed my mind. If it's something that is gonna feed me, that's gonna be the last thing I let go. I put it up there with my utilities. But you got Netflix? You go watch TV? But that's just who I am. I'm a self-development girly. It's not to quote unquote, because people love to say I shame them. Well, hell, maybe I did. I was about to apologize for it. But look, I really don't be shaming people. I think people feel convicted by the fact that they make stupid choices. They make choices it doesn't align with the version of them that they say they want. And then when I call them out, they have to see and admit either you are making a dumb choice or you don't really want to be who you say you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a successful businesswoman so bad. Like, y'all don't even know that I literally spent my last y'all know the story, while I was out the country with a kid and then somebody else's kid, my last that I was supposed to be using a few days later to go to our next stop. We was in Cyprus and we was supposed to be going to Rome, and I done spent the money to sign up for something. That's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad I wanted it. And I wasn't talking about $400. I was talking about at the time the upfront payment was 10,000. That's what I was. That's what I gave the man 10,000 for 100,000 program. By the way, for the year, I had no business signing up for it. It on the surface, it was stupid. On the surface, if you looked at my revenues, it was stupid. But I am team moving faith. So, okay, that's what the full payment is. If I was to pay a payment today, how much the payment gonna be? And it just happened to take it all. And it was just like, well, we got food for the next couple days. Yeah. All right, then I'm gonna pay it. And I woke up the next day and I cried because, girl, you are out your mind. Why did you do this? And then later that day, after I could dry my tears, I got to work. 4 days later, I had $72,000 cash. Yeah. Never made that much. Never. But something happens when you combine faith, conviction. You actually have a skill. That's important. And you move forward and you know you between a rock and a hard place. I'm gonna lay down and die person. In general, I'm not that person in general. Now I done spent this money and I got my kid and this 20-some-year-old with me, and this ain't gonna work. I gotta pay for this apartment when I get to Rome. So you go get it together, girl. And I did. And I didn't work around the clock either. I got it together. I did my one-on-one with my coach that Sunday. I signed up on a Saturday, one-on-one with that coach on a Sunday. And by Monday, she was promoting. And by Thursday, I had 72,000. I was like, oh, this what we doing? My life completely changed. It was a decision that I was going to be somebody different. It was a decision that I was going to make. I made a conscious decision to make other decisions. And that's why I started crying. That's why I felt uncomfortable in my body. My subconscious was like, oh my God, we are not safe. See what I'm talking about? That safe. We are not safe. Why would you do this? I panicked. Do y'all know how much that happens? I got somebody who did this over on the for those who don't know, I have properties in Europe. And sometimes I'll help higher level investors who want to invest in like tourist industry in Italy, find properties. I know all about the country, blah blah blah. Anyway, so when it come to investments, I had something very similar there. I told them, and like the next day, they like panicking. Meanwhile, I done already went and paid out the people that's in Italy to do the work, and no, you're not getting a refund. No, you paid a payment. Like no, like it's paid out, and I promise you, they was not wiring me back no money because you got scared, right? So what I would have done, now this is how Stephanie operates. Stephanie would have been like, "Oh shit, I guess we in here then. We locked in." She was like, "Okay," and it was like, "Well, I guess I lost my money," and I was like, "I don't, I don't know. You have to go. We're gonna leave in a minute anyway. Have a good one." I was like, "I don't know if that's the mindset of a winner. I don't know if that's the mindset of a winner." So you've already paid for this opportunity that's going to change your life, and so instead of going through with the opportunity, you like, never mind, y'all can have. When that seed was a seed, so you wanted to grow for us. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you, but that doesn't sound like a winner, and that's okay. You guys may have seen me post, and I said that I'm for winners. I'm for people who want what they say they want. I came in late. I'll have to go back and listen. Okay, you booked your hotel. Okay, perfect, perfect. Um, oh yeah, because I told you the ones I told you that was about because the price is so low over there right now. I guess because it's so far away, like distance wise, like in January, not now. I couldn't get a better rate anyway. But because I was trying to get like a group rate. But yeah. The attitude of a winner is we gonna keep going. You feel that fear, you cry, you ball up in a knot, and you call another winner. Don't call no losers. Call another winner and talk to them about it so they can talk you through it. And I see it happen across industries, across spaces, across situations all the time. You would be shocked how common it is because your body will respond. If you've made a conscious decision that aligns with who you want, but that subconscious ain't caught up, it's gonna be a clash. It's gonna be a clash there. Anyway, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go. It was a pleasure. I've enjoyed myself. And what I really enjoy is when I found out now, when this posted recording, it also posted to YouTube. Did not know that. So I guess it's also gonna go up on YouTube as a video. Thank you guys so much for being here. I just want to honor you for honoring yourself. We have almost 2,000 people in here, 1,700 and some change. 20 something showed up. Honor yourself. Okay. Have a good night, guys.